Sup nerds, R2 or Conan, whichever. I got a massive horror book haul, which doesn't happen very often because horror books are ridiculous to find. Certainly out in the wilds, you get your ones and your twos here and there, but you don't find massive amounts. At least I don't find massive amounts. So the first thing I did when I moved to my new area, I went on the local Facebook marketplace and I joined up. And there was just happened to be a guy selling like 70 odd or 80 horror books for $150. It's like, sweet, that's not a bad deal. There was some really good ones in there. I'll message him and see if they're still available. The next day I messaged him. He said, yeah, I've actually got even more. I found another 70. Sweet. So I ended up being about 138 books for $150. Absolute fucking steal, especially when you see what I've got in there. I sold one book already for $50. It was the Hellbound Heart, book based off the that inspired the Hellraiser movie. So that's paid for a third of the lot. So I was going to resell all these books, but if I just sell them and make my money back, just a couple, then the rest are free. So I can do with them what I want. I have got some on my Etsy already. So if you want to go to my Etsy store, it's NewSpaceAgeBooks on Etsy. Let me know in the comment section or hit me up on a message on Etsy and say, hey, I saw your video, and I'll do a bit better price for you for being a YouTube booktuber friend. But what I've got on my Etsy, if you don't want to go and look, I'll show anyway that I got in that lot. I got these four Clive Barkers. So we got Cabal, the Thief of Always, which surprisingly this one seems to be the more sought after / higher price book. Not a lot, but out of the four anyway. Weave World. I had the Hellbound Heart was part of this looking series as well, but I know that sells for around $50. So I've already sold that sold within a day, and a pretty. So it's a rough copy, but a perfect reading copy of the Great and Secret show. So it is a little bit warped, is it mangled, but it's all together and it's all there. And I try to describe them as best I can on my Etsy. So I've got those four in a lot on my Etsy, $25, free shipping. So that's a pretty good deal. They're all, aside from this one, these three are in really good nick. So it's basically, it would almost be $20 to $25 for these three anyway. And then this one's just a bonus. So certainly a good reading copy. Good one to take on holiday with you. Doesn't matter if it gets wrecked. So I got those on there. Ooh, that was really loud. I got a copy of The Exorcist off him. I put that up on my Etsy. That one's up for $30. I've sold these on eBay for $30 in a lot worse condition than this. Yeah, it's in red condition. It's got some spine creases, but it's all there. There's no rips. There's no tears. It's got some browning, but the pages aren't falling out. It's a pretty good reading copy. So that's up for $30. But if you want it, just send me a message. I'll knock some dollars off for you. What else did I get? That's up there. Got a copy of Salem's Lot, Stephen King hardcover. That's on my Etsy. I forget how much that is up on there. This one was awesome. I've sold a copy of this before for $100. I've got this one up. This is a hardcover copy of the It. I'm pretty sure this is a US first edition or some description. It's a book club associates edition. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember what I decided it was. But I've sold a copy of this before for $100. This one, unfortunately, has got some clear contact over it, but it's in really good condition aside from that. So I've got that up there for $90 with free shipping. Again, if you want a copy of this, let me know. I'll hook you up. And then I also got a copy of Misery hardcover. I think this is $20 or $25 up there. I'm not sure. It's a bit brown on the outside. Very good condition aside from that. No rips or tears. Really interesting format. I didn't realize it had like typewriter parts in there and all that sort of stuff, because I've never read a Stephen King, so I've got no idea about them. But again, look at him on the back here. But that's up there. Nice hardcover. I don't think this one's worth a lot. It might be 2025, I'm not sure. But yeah, that's what I've put up there with the Hellbound Heart. I was going to put some more on as well. More on. But I think that'll do for now. If any more, because if all those sell, then I've made my money back and then some. So I can sort of keep this massive stack and then what's in this tub down here. But I don't want to keep a lot of them because I don't want to read a lot of horror. There are some that I want to read, but not all of it. I do have a copy of this as well. There's Christine. A nice hardcover. It is a little bit damaged though. I've got to try and repair it. It is coming away from the spine, so I've got to put a little bit of glue in there and see if it comes up okay being repaired. If it doesn't, then it'll be good enough to sit on my shelf, because I will probably check that one out. This is one of the ones I do want to maybe check out. I am starting this year when I finish my other two that I started last year, but my first book I'm going to start is Carrie. This will be my first book of 2023, probably in the next few days. This one was in that lot as well, so that was awesome. This is Stephen King's first book, I believe. A fairly newer cover, but I've never read a Stephen King, so I think I did read some of The Green Mile, never completed it though, so I haven't read it. And I read that when it first came out, so I didn't know what was going on, so I didn't really fully understand it. So now's, I think, a good time to start some King. So yeah, that one will be, I think I've heard really good things about it. I heard it's really good, so I will get to that eventually. I did get more King, but it's down there. I want to get these ones. I can show you these, I guess. But don't forget, all this that I paid $150. So 170, no, 100, yeah, I think it was 170 books. Or 138 books, give or take, for $150. It's insane. All horror, mostly horror, because I did get a couple of Alan Dean Foster Alien novelizations. So we got Alien, Alien 3. I'm not sure what I have and what I don't have. So I know I've got some of these novelizations back at home. I can't remember, but that's cool to have those. These ones I am keeping for myself. Also got one of the only horrors that Alan Dean Foster did, called To the Vanishing Point. I've never heard of this one before, but this is awesome. Definitely going to read that one soon. We got Stephen King, The Thinner. What a great cover. I don't know anything about it. Okay, so we've got some Whitley Strieber, which he did Communion and Wolfen. I'm pretty sure he did the Wolfen. Did he do Wolfen? Not sure. But yeah, got The Secret School. I have this back in my other place, and I have this one, but I've got this one in a hardcover. This is Confrontation. This is a sequel to Communion. I haven't read Communion. I really need to. I have that as well in hardcover, but it's back home. We got Unholy Fire. I didn't have this one. And we got The Wild. Okay, we got a Joe Donnelly Stone. I do have a Donnelly at home called Shrike, about these birds, like these killer birds or bats or something like that. But yeah, that one's cool. Robert R. McCammon, Blue World. I don't know anything about it. 13 Experiments in Fear to Savage the Imagination. Oh, is it a... Oh, so this is a book of short stories. Awesome. Valley of the Lights by Stephen Gallagher, a novel of ultimate horror. It's only a short one, so I could probably knock that off pretty quick in a sitting. I wouldn't have kept any of these horror books if it wasn't for Sean Hudson Spawn, how much I just loved that book. So that's got me wanting to read more horror. We got this one here. This is 22 Moonlit Tales of the Beast Within Us. Werewolves, edited by Martin H. Greenberg. I've seen this one before. It looks very familiar. It's a door horror. Then A Place to Fear by G.M. Haig. Never heard of that guy. A few John Sauls. I've got a heap of John Sauls back in my storage unit. We've got Stuff for the Children. I've heard of that one before. Haven't read any Sauls, but I've got a bunch of his books. They sold really well in my when I was on the markets. The God Project, Creature, and Sleepwalk. I'm not sure if I'll read any of those. Got a bunch of Graham Masterton. I've read a little bit of his work. I read a little bit of this one. I do have a copy of this one back in my storage unit. This is fucking mental. This is about a killer, like a killer boar that gets. They put a human child's mind, or the genetic codes of a human child into the mind of America's biggest pig. And then there's also some sort of like tree spirit or something. Yeah, it's a half man, half tree that sort of goes in him as well or something. And this like supernatural pig goes around killing people. It just sounds fucking mental. So I do have a copy of that back in my unit. So at least I can read that before I get rid of it. Death Trance. I did pick up a few Mastertons a little while ago before I left because of they had really awesome covers. So we got Death Trance. We got the Sleepless. Spirit. And I don't think these are worth much. So Black Angel and Burial. So I might have to bundle them together if I was to sell them. This is like a point horror. Yeah, it's a point horror. East Gippsland Shire Library. I am 12 hours away. I never noticed that. I am 12 hours away from the East Gippsland Shire Library. That just happens to be where I moved from. And yet I bought this 12 hours drive too. Not a 12 hours flight, 12 hours driving. That's funny. Made it all the way up here. I'll be keeping this one then. Ex-library book from my area. That's funny. The Pariah. Looks pretty cool. The House That Jack Built. I've got that one back in my unit. The Devils of D-Day. The Jinn. I have this as well, but not this cover. So I have a different version of this, and that's only a couple hundred pages, so I should be able to smash that out pretty quick. Sacrifice. That looks really cool. Similar to like Russian communist like worm thing. I don't know. Oh, there's another copy of Flesh and Blood. So I guess one of these will end up on Etsy at some point, maybe bundled up together. This one looks wicked. This one's called Walkers. How cool is that? Yeah, I don't know. Oh, another copy of Spirit. And The Devil in Grey, which I recognize that cover as well. Did get some more Hudson off, like I got some Hudson off him as well. I left all my Hudson at home because I couldn't bring anything. I ran out of room, could not bring him with me. So I left my Hudson back in my storage unit to pick up in a couple of months' time. But he has a bunch of Hudson here that was in that lot. I was super stoked because I really want to read some more of his work. I will probably move these on, but eventually, but I'm going to read them. We got the horror film quiz book. So this has just got questions, obviously questions on horror from before 1991. So I'm guessing it's like the 80s and earlier. I haven't had a read through this yet, so I don't really know too much about it, but it is just a horror quiz book. So I might have to do like a TikTok live and just go through some questions and do this, or even go on Twitch or something and just read some questions out of this, and just a bit of fun, because that's fucking sweet as. We got Captives. I can't remember which ones that I have and I haven't got. I do remember I did have a copy of this. Somebody was after a copy of White Ghost, so I forget who it was. Maybe Brendan. I think you maybe wanted a copy of that. Well, I've got a spare copy. Heathen. We got a trilogy here. We got the Abduction, the Visitation, and Come the Night. Guessing this is a trilogy. Not sure. Yeah, it's the Uninvited 3, apparently. I don't know. We got Deadhead. I know I had that one. Stolen Angels. Didn't have a copy of Spawn though, so lucky I brought that up. Lucy's Child. We got Renegades. Nemesis, which I did have a copy of back then, back at home as well. And another omnibus here, Purity and Deadhead. So I did have a copy of Deadhead there, didn't I? Yep, didn't have Purity though. So that's wicked. The guy I bought them from told me about a bookshop where he got a lot of these from. So when it reopens up, because there's still a lot of things that closed up here, I'm going to go and check it out and see if I can get a couple more of the Sean Hudsons that I really want to read, like Slugs and Breeding Ground. So then I did get a lot of Lehman. He had a bunch of Richard Lehman's stuff, and I don't know how many books Richard Lehman's written, but I've got a massive friggin' chunk of it. So to start with, I got this trilogy. This is called the Beast House trilogy. I am going to keep this one because it's a really nice copy and it's a trilogy and it's all in one. You know I like my all in ones. This has got the Cellar, the Beast House, and the Midnight Tour. So this is a Richard Lehman collection 1. So that's cool. These on the floor. I got a Stephen King book here, the Tommy Knockers. I'll show this off quickly. It's missing its slipcover or dust jacket, so it's not really one I can sell. It's a bit dirty. I can clean that up easy enough. But yeah, it's not really a selling copy, but it's a perfect reading copy for me if I ever get around to it. Same with this one. Under the Dome. I don't know if I'll ever read it. I haven't seen the show. It looked interesting enough, that's for sure, but it is very dirty. It's a very big copy. I don't think it's worth me listing it up for sale, so it'll just go on the shelf. I paid $1, like $1 and cents for all these books, so I can't complain. Keeping this one, this is Knights of the Living Dead anthology, edited by George A. Romero and Jonathan Mabry. So this has got, I think I have a copy of this, but I'm not sure. Knights of the Living Dead, an anthology. Oh, the book is dedicated to John Skip. I've got some John Skip books. Oh yeah, so it's just short stories, possibly set in the sort of Knights of the Living Dead universe. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it's just like a book of short stories with zombies in it, let's say. So that's cool. Keeping this one, of course, because we're almost living that now. But I also didn't have a copy of 1984, so yeah, it's printed really weird too. It's got some weird printing on there. But I've seen this copy around. I was hoping to get a big omnibus of a few of his books all in one, but this is a nice little trade paperback. Okay, so the other Richard Lehman books that I got. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep these or if I'm going to sell them or if I'm going to read any of them. I'll hold on to them for now because they're not worth anything. Excuse me one second. I had to sneeze. Yeah, I don't think they're worth anything. I might be able to bundle them up, make a little bit off them, but yeah, cost me pittance. No Sanctuary. I am going to read one. Yeah, I'll show you in a sec. Oh, No Sanctuary. I just saw something. There is the Richard Lehman collection volume 2. So that goes with my volume 1. I didn't know I had that. So I will be keeping this one as well. This one has got The Woods Are Dark and Out Are the Lights. So that's really cool. About killer trees. That's great. Yeah, I am going to read this one. This one is called One Rainy Night. This one, the guy who sold me this book said, no, if you haven't read a Lehman, he said, read this one first. It's really, really quick and easy and just very fast read. You just smash it out. And it's basically about this rain, from what I can tell. It's about this rain that when it hits you, it sends you absolutely fucking mental and you just kill people. You end up killing people in the most gruesomest ways. And that just sounds like a crazy 80s movie premise to me. So 1988, possibly 1991. So that just sounds awesome. I don't know if any of these were turned into movies, but they just sound like fucking great movies. So we got One Rainy Night, which I'm going to keep and read first, just off his recommendation. He was a really cool dude. His name was Ryan as well, so it was just meant to be. Got The Island. A lot of these I've seen around, so I do recognize these, but I just haven't read them. Quake. I think he's a pretty common author at like bookshops, like secondhand bookshops and op shops and stuff. Got The Woods Are Dark. I think that was in the second compilation. So we've got The Woods Are Dark. In the Dark. No, wasn't it? Blood Games. If you've read any Layman, let me know which one of these to check out next, because I have no idea. I was just going to start with his earlier one because it's just what I do. I like to read the earlier ones first. We got Bite. Got another copy of One Rainy Night. The Cellar. That was in that first one, I think. Out Are the Lights. That was the other book that was in the second compilation. Midnight's Lair. Some of these got really wicked covers. No Sanctuary. That's another copy of No Sanctuary. Bit of a more modern cover. Got, oh cool, The Stake, which is a vampire one by the looks of that. Dreadful Tales. Flesh. I've had a copy of this before. That cover just looks familiar. Just it's been it was a different cover, so I've had more like a more vintage cover, I think. Or it could be just that hand just looks familiar. Dark Mountain. Some of these look really good. Night Show. Among the Missing. So many of these guys. The Beast House, that's part of that compilation. After Midnight. She's got a sword. The Midnight Tour. Funland. That one might be cool to read. I like haunted, like amusement parks and stuff like that, and killings at amusement parks. Savage. Stephen King likes this guy, so I think that's saying something. Alarums. That's really weird. Amara. It's not a bad little picture. It's got the same Stephen King quote on a lot of these. Fiends. Endless Night. Blood Games. A couple more. Body Rides. Darkness Tell Us. Another copy of Funland. And another copy of Savage. I think I had that one as well. So many layman's there. I'll definitely get to one or two this year. But yeah, it's good to have a good selection to decide what I want to read first. Now I've got some bigger ones, like some hardcovers and stuff. We got The Regulators by Richard Bachman, Desperation and The Regulators. Is this like a 2-in-1 or something? I don't know. But yeah, Regulators. Isn't Richard Bachman, isn't that Stephen King? I don't know. I have no idea. That sounds familiar. This one, yeah, Zombies. This one is edited by John Skip, so this one is just full of books about zombies, little short stories about zombies. It's got a Ray Bradbury one in here. What's it called? Which I've read. Oh, that was part 2. Oh, what? It's not. Oh, The Emissary, which is, I think that was about this kid's dog kept bringing back body parts from a graveyard or something. Well, his dog dies and then it comes back. I don't know. It was in the October country, and I haven't read that in a while now. So, but yeah, I got that one. I think I could put that on Etsy. That's worth about $20, free shipping. I'll show all the Stephen Kings that are there. I've got 4 Past Midnight in a hardcover. These are a bit dirty and stuff, so I haven't listed any of these. I haven't checked them out, so I've got to clean them up. Dolores Claiborne. I know nothing of these books. Just After Sunset. You know, if I wanted to keep all these Stephen King books, I could, because, you know, I should probably have a Stephen King collection. The Bazaar of Bad Dreams. Once I sell those other ones, you know. Got Gerald's Game. This one sounds really, just really interesting, really cool. I did read the premise of that. That sounds cool. Rose Matter. I don't know anything about that one. Nightmares and Dreamscapes. I've seen a few of these around, but I don't know what they are. Desperation. I had a hardcover copy of this I sold for $100 or $80 or something quite a while ago. Some sort of US first edition hardcover, big hardcover, beautiful cover. Whoa. Excuse me. Yeah, so I know some of these can be worth a little bit, but that's about the extent of my knowledge. Hearts in Atlantis. This sounds interesting. I was keen to check this one out. I think this is a movie, but I'm not sure. Needful Things. This one's pretty jacked. Good reading copy, but that's about all it's good for. Yeah, I think that's it for Stephen King. Got a couple of James Herbert. I've had this one before, James Herbert, The Rats. I definitely want to read this one because it's, yeah, just about killer rats or an invasion of rats and stuff. That just sounds fantastic, and it's quite short. I did have another one of his called Fluke, which could have been perhaps like a Cujo type story. I'm not sure, but I can just picture that in my mind. We got The Dark. I don't know what this is. From the Blackest Pits of Hell, some sort of demon one perhaps. But yeah, haven't read it. Have I read any Herbert? I don't think I have. But I have had a few of his books in the past. And the rest are... The rest are all Dean Koontz. So I'll go through these pretty quick. We've all probably seen or read a Dean Koontz book. I've seen a ton of his books. Never read any, but I will definitely check out one or two of these for sure. So I'll go through them pretty quick. We've got Winter Moon. The Eyes of Darkness. We've definitely all seen these books. I see these all the time. Hideaway. I see his hardcovers all the time. Demon Seeds. This is quite a short one, so maybe I'll read that. Got some cool vintage ones here. The Voice of the Night. I don't mind these old school covers. Is this one Chase? Maybe these ones are worth something. I don't know. They're in pretty good condition. Darkness Comes. There's another one in that sort of style. Whispers. Got Cold Fire. Let me know if you've read any Koontz and which ones I should start with first. I do want to check him out. I think it's only right. Dark Rivers of the Heart. I think he's one of those authors that you just got to read at least one of his books. I've got a bunch of his stuff here that are all... these are all in the same sort of style covers, so these are a nice little collection. Could be worth bundling up. But I don't know. Velocity. Life Expectancy. They're pretty cool covers. I actually don't mind these. They look like sort of crime ones. The Husband. But they could be like crime murder ones. I've got no idea. The Taking. Forever Odd. The Face. I actually really like this set. Thomas. I know they turned that into a movie with Ryan Quanten, I think. It's about a guy that he could turn invisible. Or is it the one that could talk to animals or something? Talk to his cats and dogs that sort of tell him to kill people? Maybe that's it. I can't remember. And The Darkest Evening of the Year. So that was all those in those sort of like cool sort of white cover spines that sort of look all nice and awesome on the shelf, which they're just sitting on a table, on a tub and a table at the moment. We got Midnight, small hardcover, a couple of trade paperbacks, 77 Shadow Street. It's really nice, sort of metallic sort of looking cover. Looks pretty cool. By the Light of the Moon, some sort of werewolfy one. And the last three, these are those stereotypical sort of hardcovers that you see everywhere. The Key to Midnight, Twilight Eyes, and The Funhouse, which I'll probably read this one because, again, I do like my killer Funhouse ones. And look how these are just on the pages, like in the center of the pages. I don't know, I like that. Very large writing. God, you can smash this out. Like, that's only 310 pages. If I do 100 pages a day, that's quick as. But, I'm pretty sure that's it. I did move a few around, so they may not all be here. But that is a massive, massive, massive lot that I got for a stupid price. Very, very lucky that I found it. And he does have a few more that he's listed on the Facebook page, but he's some Resident Evil paperbacks, which I'm very much wanting for myself. He's got a really good price on them. They're very rare and hard to find and expensive normally, so he does have a good price on them. So I may pick up those, but I do need to sell some more books first. So again, if you are after any of these books that I've showed, let me know, and I'll hook you up. If you're in Australia, if you're outside of Australia, we'll figure something out. But definitely check my Etsy ads, NewSpaceAgeBooks. If there's any on there that you want, let me know in the comment section down here, or fling me a message on Etsy and just say, hey, you saw this video, and I'll go as cheap as possible for you. Because, yeah, again, I didn't pay my lot for these, so happy to move some on to fellow booktubers and readers and stuff. So until the next one, guys, stay safe, take care, and just enjoy the books, whatever you may be reading. I hope the new year has been kind so far, and that it continues to stay kind forever and ever. Thanks for always checking me out, guys, and see you in the next one.